Hi students, this is investment function. So the word investment, it has a specific meaning in economics. It includes all the productive capacities of the country. You know what are the productive capacities? They are nothing but the fixed capital asset that is existing in the economy and inventories. So in this they include all building, machinery, factories and raw materials available and the skilled laborers, and some due is being maintained by the entrepreneur to meet out the depreciation. Everything is included in this productive capacities. That is called fixed capital. So this fixed capital, when it is used for further production, it yields some output in the future. So Keynes says investment is the expenditure on real capital of any country. So there are many financial investments are also there, that is stocks and shares, debentures, government bonds and securities. They are only financial investments, but they are not real investments. Keynes gives more importance to investment than consumption in order to increase national income and employment level, to determine the employment level. Why? What happens to consumption expenditure? Consumption function we have studied. C is the function of income. So consumption expenditure purely depending upon the level of income. So Keynes gives a term that is autonomous investment, which is independent of income. So autonomous investment that is independent of income, that alone can boost the economy by more level of employment, and that can be done by the government. According to Keynes, investment includes expenditure on capital investment. So what is this capital? We should know what is capital. So Marshall defines capital as the wealth of a country other than the free gifts of nature which yield income. Something that is being used for further production is capital. Alfred Marshall defines capital as a wealth of country other than the free gifts of nature which yield income. Baum-Bawak defines capital as the produced means of production. So capital is the secondary means of production. For example, when human beings, we are all consumers, when we eat mangoes, we don't eat the full mango, but a part of it is being used for further production, that is nothing but the nut in the mango, isn't it? So consumers consume only mango and then the nut is kept for further production. Here that is why saving becomes investment, that is the part of the capital is from the saving. Another example for this is tractor is considered as a capital when it is used for cultivation in the farm, but tractor is not used fully, isn't it? For some years it is kept idle. At that time it is considered as wealth, but when it is used for production it is considered as capital. This is the difference. So all wealth is not capital, but all capital is wealth. Capital is a secondary means of production. Okay, capital is productive. The two types of investment are autonomous investment and induced investment. Autonomous investment is the expenditure on capital formation which is independent of income, rate of interest and profit. What is induced investment? Induced investment is the expenditure on capital which depends on the level of income. So this autonomous investment is independent of level of income, but this induced investment is dependent on income. So both are in the process of capital formation. So capital asset is being increased when some expenditure is made further on this capital and it is used for production. But autonomous investment is independent of income. So what happen? If there is a rise in autonomous investment, if there is a rise in the price of the raw materials or rise in the wages of the workers, it is not affected. The autonomous investment is the same at all levels of income. Whatever may be the level of income, the amount that is used as autonomous investment remains the same. So it is income inelastic. Whereas induced investment, it is not income inelastic, it is income elastic. If the level of income increases, investment increases. That is induced investment. If the level of income comes down, investment is lowered. Okay, there is a positive relationship between induced investment and a level of income. Now, this autonomous investment is based on welfare consideration. Only government can make this autonomous investment. But induced investment is planned investment. Autonomous investment is income inelastic and induced investment is income elastic. Autonomous investment is for welfare consideration and induced investment is for profit motive. Now, why this autonomous investment has to be made? There is a question arise, isn't it? That is, classical economists, they believed that all the money being saved in the economy becomes investment. So, there is no gap in between it. But Keynes, he is of the view that the money that is being saved cannot be expected again being invested. That is, saving does not directly being used for investment. That is because the two persons are different persons. The one who is saving cannot be an investor. But a classical economist thought the person who saves becomes investor. That is why for them saving is equal to investment. But Keynes say that the person who saves the money and the person who decides on investment, both of them are different persons. So what happens? Sometimes there is a chance of excess saving and rise in the demand. So what happens? When rise in demand is there, more investment is needed. But there is a gap in this saving and investment. It is because saving is excess. So what happens? In order to remove the gap, in order to equalize saving and investment, autonomous expenditure has to be made. That's what Keynes says. Because that can be done only by the government. So autonomous investment, it has a major role in welfare economics. Why it is made? Because there is a gap in saving and investment. It has to be removed only by invested by the government. Only if investment is made by the government, this gap can be removed and deficiency in aggregate spending. So what happened? Autonomous expenditure has to be made, then y is equal to c plus I and y is equal to c plus s. Here x axis represents national income and y axis represents investment. Yes, so both for autonomous investment as well as for induced investment. So the curve autonomous investment is horizontal to x axis, indicating that is investment level is the same on all levels of income. Income may be increased, national income can increase or decrease, but the amount that is allotted for autonomous investment remains the same. That is why it is said income inelastic. So here this induced investment curve slopes upward, showing positive relationship between investment and national income. So higher the national income, higher the investment. Lower the national income, lower the investment. So it is independent of income, this is dependent on income. So this autonomous investment not only independent of income, but it is also independent of rate of interest as well as profit. But this induced investment depends upon national income, rate of interest and then profit. Do you find the difference between these two? This one is for welfare motive, this is for profit motive. So this is for This is income inelastic, this is income elastic. Income increases, investment will increase. Okay, this is planned one, this is independent of the level of income. Classical economists believed that rate of interest is the main determinant of investment, but all the other economists, Keynes, after this 1930 depression, they thought that there are many other determinants that affect rate of interest. They are, sorry, not rate of interest, investment. Investment is affected due to the level of rate of interest. So these are all the determinants of investment: rate of interest, level of uncertainty, and rate of growth of population, political environment, new products, innovations and invention, consumer demand, policy of the state, liquid assets of the investors. So in this, if there is a rise in the demand, there will be an increase in the investment. If population increases, what happen? There will be an increase in the consumer demand. So what happen? Investment will be increased. So if there is a smooth functioning of the government, the law and order is maintained in the economy, then what will happen? Investment will not be disturbed. So depending upon the monetary policy and the fiscal policy of the state also, this investment level will be changed. It is because the supply of money, that we will see afterwards. Okay, supply of money is controlled, isn't it? That is what monetary policy we study. And if there are tax concessions given to the investors, so they can invest more. So investment is increased at that time. And the liquid assets of the investors, suppose the investors have more liquid assets, they can buy more shares and capital, more shares and stocks in the stock market. That increases their financial investment, and that helps to meet out all the capital expenditure. So investment depends upon all these factors, but Keynes gives mainly two reasons for the investment to be determined. Keynes contended that business expectation and profit are the two important factors that affects investment. So what is this business expectation? That is, there may be a rise in demand or fall in demand. So to meet out this consumer demand, investment has to be made, isn't it? So investment is for profit. So what is business expectation? Why the entrepreneur invest? He invests on expectation of more profit, isn't it? Yes. So profit, if there is more profit, then what will happen? Investors will naturally invest. Keynes gives another factor, that is marginal efficiency of capital and interest rate. They are also very important for in deciding the investment. This marginal efficiency of capital states the rate of return on investment project. Okay, it is nothing but the annual percentage yield that is earned from the last additional unit of capital. I will draw the diagram for this total product. So what happened? When one more additional unit of labor is added, total product increases, reaches maximum and starts declining. But what happens to the marginal product? Marginal product starts increasing in the beginning and then diminishes. Yes, when it is maximum, it is zero, we have seen. You remember this? So what is the nature of marginal product? Always it diminishes. So here when we speak about with this marginal efficiency of capital, okay, due to the operation of, listen very carefully, due to the operation of diminishing marginal returns, due to the operation of diminishing marginal returns. So the marginal efficiency of capital also comes down.